Okay, so when the markets go crazy, a flood of new people jump into Bitcoin, full of hope and excitement. But there's a flip side, a much darker side, filled with all these traps designed to take everything from you. So, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how people lose their Bitcoin so you don't have to learn these lessons the hard way.
This quote right here, it just nails the whole problem. At its core, Bitcoin was meant to be really simple. But as soon as it started getting popular, the old financial world came in and started piling on these complicated, confusing products. And you gotta understand, most of those products are built to make money off of you, not to help you.
So the big question is, how do you even begin to navigate all this craziness? Well, it all boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful idea: learning the difference between what we call signal and noise.
Think of it like tuning an old radio. The signal is that one clear station playing the music you want to hear. That's the truth of Bitcoin, the fact that you can truly own your money. The noise? That's all the static, all the other stations bleeding through, the scams, the get-rich-quick stuff, all of it designed to pull you away from that one clear signal. Learning to tune out that noise is everything.
All right, let's dive into a perfect real-world example of this. It's one of the loudest, one of the most tempting, and frankly, one of the most dangerous pieces of noise out there, the Bitcoin lending trap.
I mean, just look at this offer. It sounds amazing, right? You can get a huge chunk of cash without having to sell your precious Bitcoin. You could pay off bills, buy a car, whatever. They make it sound so simple, so easy. But this right here, this is the bait. This is how the trap is set.
And then, bam, reality hits. We all know Bitcoin is volatile. For anyone who's been around for a while, a 36% drop isn't some crazy, once-in-a-lifetime event. It's kind of normal. You expect it. But if you've borrowed against your Bitcoin, a drop like this isn't just a bad day. It's an absolute catastrophe waiting to happen. This is the trigger for the trap. It's called a margin call. As soon as your Bitcoin's value drops, you get that dreaded email or phone call. It basically says, hey, you need to send us thousands of dollars right now to cover your loan. And let's be real. Who has that kind of cash just lying around? Almost nobody. And if you can't pay up, they liquidate you. They sell your Bitcoin on the spot, and poof, it's gone. And this is where you see just how rigged the game is. Let's lay it out. Your risk, as the borrower, you could lose 100% of your Bitcoin. Everything. And the lender's risk? It's basically zero. Why? Because they're holding your Bitcoin hostage. The second things go south, they just sell your coins to make themselves whole. It's a classic heads I win, tails you lose setup.
This really gets to the heart of it. These lending products are trying to force Bitcoin to play by the old rules of the debt-based fiat money system, but they're fundamentally different things. It really is like trying to mix oil and water. They just don't go together, and when you try to force it, it's almost always the Bitcoin holder who gets burned.
Now, this whole lending trap actually points to an even bigger, more fundamental question that every single Bitcoin owner has to answer. Who is actually holding and controlling your Bitcoin?
Okay, level 1. This is where pretty much everybody starts out, leaving their coins on an exchange. You've probably heard the saying, not your keys, not your coins. Well, this is exactly what it means. You don't actually have Bitcoin, you have an IOU, a promise from the exchange. And we've all seen the stories. Hacks, bankruptcies, those promises can disappear overnight.
So you get a little smarter, you move your coins off the exchange. That brings us to level 2. Collaborative custody. Now, this sounds safer, and maybe it is in some ways, but here's the catch. You're still trusting someone else. It's called counterparty risk. You're trusting another company's security, its employees, its ethics. You've just traded one kind of risk for another. You're still not really in control.
And that brings us to level 3. This is it. This is the signal. This is the whole reason Bitcoin was created, self-custody. It simply means you, and only you, hold the keys to your Bitcoin. No middleman, no counterparty, nobody to ask for permission. You actually become your own bank.
So let's be totally clear about the price you pay for that convenience of letting someone else hold your coins. There are these hidden costs. You're paying fees that act like a tax on your wealth. You're giving up all your personal info, destroying your privacy, and most importantly, you are outsourcing your financial future to a group of strangers. You have to ask yourself, is that a trade-off you're willing to make?
Okay, so we've established that lending is a trap and that third-party custody is a huge risk. So, what's the answer? It's not about some new product
It's about a complete shift in how you think. It's about walking the path to sovereignty.
And this is the destination, self-custody. It is the only way to truly own your Bitcoin and to unlock its incredible power. It makes your wealth totally independent of any company, any government, any other person on Earth. It makes it yours.
And this is what you get. Just 2 words, but they represent a complete revolution. Unconfiscatable money. Think about that. For the first time in history, a person can hold wealth that cannot be seized, cannot be frozen, cannot be taken away, as long as they control their own keys. It's unbelievable. Getting there is really about a mental journey. First, you have to break a lifetime of habit, of depending on banks and institutions. Second, you got to kill that part of your brain that's always looking for a shortcut or a get-rich-quick scheme. And third, you just have to take a little time to learn a few simple skills. It is so much easier than you think.
This is the real message right here. It's all about empowerment. You do not need to play these risky games. You don't have to. The only thing it requires is for you to trust yourself. You have to believe that you are smart enough and capable enough to learn this. And I'm telling you, you absolutely are.
And so once you've gone through this journey, once you really understand what you're holding, this scarce, powerful, unconfiscatable asset that is truly yours, it all leads to one final, profound question. If you have the best money ever created, why would you ever trade it back for a weaker, constantly devaluing form of money? Selling it for what? That's a question worth sitting with.